Imposters are individuals who pretend to be someone else, often for personal gain or to deceive others. Over the course of history, there have been numerous cases of imposters who have achieved notoriety for their acts of deception. Some of these imposters have managed to pull off elaborate cons, while others have been exposed and brought to justice. So in this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 most famous imposters of all time. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Number 10. Frank Abagnale Jr. Frank Abagnale Jr., born April 27, 1948, is an American security consultant and former con artist who is known for his exploits as an imposter. During the 1960s, Abagnale successfully posed as an airline pilot, doctor, lawyer, and other professional while committing check fraud and other crimes. After being caught and serving time in prison, Abagnale turned his life around and began working as a consultant for the FBI, helping to prevent fraud and other white-collar crimes. He has since become a popular motivational speaker and has written several books, including Catch Me If You Can, which was later adapted into a film of the same name. Number 9. Ferdinand Waldo DEMARA Jr. Ferdinand Waldo DEMARA Jr., born December 21, 1921 through June 7, 1982, was a Canadian imposter who gained fame in the 1950s for assuming a variety of false identities, including that of a surgeon, a monk, a prison warden, a teacher, and a psychologist, among others. DEMARA's most famous deception came in 1951 when he assumed the identity of Dr. Joseph Cyr, a surgeon in the Royal Canadian Navy. He performed surgeries and even taught medical students despite having no medical training. His fraud was eventually exposed and he served time in prison for his crimes. Number 8. Anna Sorokin. Anna Sorokin, born on January 23, 1991, is a Russian-born former socialite who gained notoriety in 2018 for her elaborate scheme to defraud wealthy New Yorkers. Posing as a German heiress named Anna Delvey, Sorokin convinced numerous people in high society that she was a wealthy socialite with a trust fund worth millions of dollars. Over the course of several months, Sorokin defrauded hotels, restaurants, and individuals out of tens of thousands of dollars, using the money to fund her lavish lifestyle. Sorokin's scam eventually came to an end in 2017, when she was arrested and charged with multiple counts of grand larceny and theft of services. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. Number 7. Victor Lustig. Victor Lustig, January 4, 1890 to March 11, 1947, was a con artist and impostor who is perhaps best known for his audacious scheme to sell the Eiffel Tower. In 1925, Lustig convinced a group of scrap metal dealers that the Eiffel Tower was being decommissioned and that the French government was seeking bids to sell it for scrap. Lustig, posing as a government official, sold the rights to the tower to one of the dealers for a significant sum of money. After disappearing with the money, Lustig later attempted a similar scheme with another wealthy businessman in the United States. He was eventually caught and spent time in prison, but continued to operate scams and cons throughout his life. Number 6. Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal, born on November 12, 1977, is a former American civil rights activist who gained notoriety in 2015 for claiming to be a black woman, despite being born to white parents. Dolezal had been a prominent figure in the civil rights community in Spokane, Washington, where she served as the president of the local chapter of the NAACP and worked as a part-time instructor of African studies at a local university. However, her claims of being black were challenged when her parents publicly stated that she was white. The controversy surrounding Dolezal's racial identity sparked a national conversation about race and identity politics in America. Dolezal eventually resigned from her positions in the NAACP and at the university, and her story has since become the subject of several books and documentaries. Number 5. Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes, December 24, 1905 to April 5, 1976, was an American business magnate, investor, and aviator who is considered one of the wealthiest people in the world during his lifetime. Hughes was known for his brilliant business mind, and he amassed a fortune through his investments in aviation, film, and real estate. However, he also became increasingly reclusive and began exhibiting strange behavior in his later years, including hoarding and obsessive-compulsive tendencies. One of Hughes' most famous impostures was his claim to have designed and piloted the Spruce Goose, a massive airplane made entirely of wood. Hughes' eccentric behavior continued until his death in 1976, and his life has been the subject of numerous books, films, and documentaries. Number 4. James Hogue. James Hogue, born in 1959, is an American imposter who gained notoriety in the 1980s and 1990s for his elaborate schemes to deceive people and gain access to prestigious institutions. Hogue first made headlines in the 1980s when he posed as a high school student and won a scholarship to attend a prestigious prep school in New England. He went on to attend Stanford University, where he posed as a student athlete and joined the track and cross-country teams. Hogue was eventually caught and spent time in prison for his deceptions. However, Hogue's schemes did not end there. In the 2000s, he posed as a firefighter in Colorado and was eventually caught and convicted for theft and forgery charges. In 2018, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison for stealing from a wealthy man in Aspen, Colorado. Number 3. Christopher Rocancourt. Christopher Rocancourt, born July 16, 1967, is a French imposter and con artist who gained notoriety in the 1990s and 2000s for his elaborate scheme to defraud wealthy individuals and celebrities. Rocancourt posed as a member of the French aristocracy and claimed to be related to the Rothschild banking family. He used this persona to gain access to wealthy circles and convince people to invest in his business ventures, which turned out to be fraudulent. Rocancourt's exploits included convincing a Hollywood producer to invest $100,000 in a movie that was never made and swindling a wealthy New York socialite out of $100,000 by posing as a diamond dealer. He was eventually caught and served time in prison in both the United States and France. Number 2. Barry Bremen. Barry Bremen, 1947 to 2011, was an American imposter who gained notoriety in the 1970s and 1980s for his elaborate pranks and stunts at sporting events. Bremen became famous for sneaking onto the field at major sporting events and participating in the pre-game ceremonies alongside actual athletes. He once dressed as a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader and joined the squad on the field during a Super Bowl halftime show. And he also posed as a tennis player and played a match against Jimmy Connors at Wimbledon. He was eventually caught and banned from many major sporting events, but he continued to be a beloved figure in the sports world for his audacious pranks. Number 1. Clifford Irving. Clifford Irving, November 5, 1930 to December 19, 2017, was an American writer who gained notoriety in the 1970s for his elaborate hoax involving a fake autobiography of billionaire Howard Hughes. In 1971, Irving convinced his publisher that he had obtained exclusive access to Hughes and had been authorized to write his autobiography. He produced a series of forged letters from Hughes to support his claims and was able to secure a $765,000 advance for the book. However, Hughes' representatives quickly denied the authenticity of the letters, and Irving was exposed as a fraud. He was arrested and charged with fraud and conspiracy, and he eventually pleaded guilty and served time in prison. The stories of these famous imposters remind us of the power of deception and the human tendency to believe in what we want to be true. Despite the different motivations and methods of these imposters, they all share a common ability to convince others of their false identities and manipulate the truth. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you liked the video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.